Hi, my name is Damon Knight. I'm 67 years old. This is the fourth video that I'm making, and you're listening to a verbal diary of hope, not hope, a belief that anybody, including myself, can survive. Everybody can cure themselves if they're given some tools and they're willing to listen and follow some basically real general instructions. It's really going back to what people knew for 1,000 years. Right now, we have the largest health caring system in the world. I'm getting kind of old, but if you think back about 15, 20 years, if you're not that young, the largest buildings in every single town and city were the churches. You remember that? You'd go into a town and you could look and you'd see the steeples up in the air, crosses on top. The sun would always beam off them. And it didn't matter if it was what type of church or what type of denomination, the churches were always the biggest ones. But now in less than 2 decades, the churches are smaller, and now the big buildings are the hospitals. You used to go into the church, and there on the front of the church, I'm a Catholic, used to be a priest, but it could be a minister. And the priest used to have a tiny little host that represented God. He was all dressed in white and used to go up and get the host on your tongue, which gave you a belief and a hope. And you knew that you weren't alone. You knew that God was there on your side. Now, you enter one of these big white hospitals. Once again, there's a man or woman all dressed in white. And you come up to them, and they too have something in their hands, but instead of a hoax that gives you a belief, they hand you a pill on your tongue. Many pills on your tongues. You used to give your monies to the church. Now you give your monies to the hospitals. What changed? Are we better off? If they're doing such a wonderful job, then why are there so many sick people? How come nobody gets cured? When I got ready to retire, I had a closing interview with the doctors. They were doing a final checkup. And at the time, they had me on 17 different kinds of medications. 17. You know how much that is for popping into your mouth every single morning, sometimes 2 times, 3 times a day. And I didn't give a hoot, for lack of a better term, about anything. If you told me, oh, your dog just got ran over, so. Oh, your house is on fire, so. Your wife ran away with the fireman, so. I didn't care about life. I didn't watch sports. I didn't go. I used to work, wake up tired, come home, eat something, and go to sleep. To rest up, to go to work, to eat something, to go to sleep. Anytime you took all these pills, they didn't make you feel bad. They didn't make you feel good. You were just there. You didn't accomplish anything. You weren't creative. You didn't read. You didn't know what was even on the television. You could care less. You didn't know what happened with your family. Everything was out there. You could see it all, but nothing came inside. Nothing touched me. And I used to tell this to the doctor all the time. Well, closing time, I'm getting ready to retire, and I'm paying in the vicinity of about $1,050 for the medicines, more than the house payment. So I went to the doctor and I said, would you do me a favor? I'm retired. I'm not going to have as much money. Would you prorate the medicines? Which are the most important, which are less important. If I don't have enough money, I'll at least buy the ones that I have. And the doctor said, oh, no, I can't go over and rank order those drugs. You need every single one of them, Mr. Knight. I said, good. When do I get cured? I'm going to take all these medicines. Oh, no, Mr. Knight. No. You're going to be taking these medicines for the rest of your life. Get used to it, Mr. Knight. Have a good day. I got left that office and I was skinny. I mean, first time I had been worked up in a long time. He couldn't give me a ranking of the medicines in case I ran out of money. Nothing. And I'm getting fed up. I'm not getting better. I'm never going to get better. What the hell am I taking all the medicines for? Next day, I get a call from the doctor. I said, the man changed his mind. He's come to reason. He's going to go over and take some of these medicines away. And he said, oh, Mr. Knight, I'm glad I can talk to you this morning. He says, I've got some good news for you. And I said, about time to have some good news. Yes, some good news. And he says, Mr. Knight, I have just added 3 more prescriptions. All right, you'll feel much better with these. Boy, that's a bunch of bull. Boy, did that get me mad. I thought I was mad yesterday, but I became more mad that day. So I said, the hell with it. I took all the medicines, every single one of those medicines that he had prescribed and the other physicians prescribed, and nobody knows what I was taking. I put them all in a paper bag from Kroger's or so, and I put them in a corner. I was taking Lantus in my belly. That's a shot for my diabetes. Every morning I take a shot and put it in my belly. I left that in the refrigerator, but I quit taking that. Then I started scrounging around. I started looking for different things, blood monitors, blood pressure cuffs, any kind of control that I could have to see how I was doing. Now, at the time, I was sleeping minimum of 12 hours a day. 8 hours was working, and the other time was getting to work, getting back from work, and eating. After I stopped taking the medicines, I thought I was going to be sicker than a dog. But within about 4 days, I really started feeling better. I mean, my energy all of a sudden peaked up. After years and years and years of being tired, I felt better. And the amount of time that I needed dropped down to like 8.5 hours to sleep. I had more time on my hands. Now I'm retired, I got more time on my hands. Another couple days went by, and I found out that I'm sleeping less. I'm down to 7 hours of sleep. My energy is going up. And then 6 hours of sleep. Then 5 hours of sleep. And 4.5 hours of sleep. And I kind of stopped at 3.5 hours of sleep. But my energy, I mean, I got up and I started working. I woke up and I'm awake. I don't smile much, but I'm awake. And my head's clearing up. And I'm not tired. And I can work. And that's very important to be able to work. To be able to move around and notice, gee, you live in a house now. You must have lived here for a long time. You don't even remember. Because it didn't mean anything. So I put everything aside. And I believed in myself. I believed. I started monitoring myself, started taking my blood sugar, and I really started to watch my diet. I started reading, and I started listening to my daughter, who's wonderful. And she says, Dad, get off the meat. You're not going to have any more meat. You've got to get onto a plant-based diet. You need to get on it. I'm telling you, when I was a boy, I would eat any kind of meat there was. If it didn't crawl off the plate fast enough for me to go over and stab it and bring it on back. My time is running out again. I'm off the subject again. This was number 4. Thank you for your time, and I'm sorry